What is going on, guys? This is Mia Sin. So it's been like a year or something since my last Phantom Knight video, and I really felt like I had to make an update on it because this deck benefits so much of the Horus engine. It's crazy, and I was not expecting this deck to be as consistent, as powerful, and as resilient. It's extremely good going first because you're making huge boards, and you're playing through hand traps like it's nothing. And going second, I mean, you have space for a lot of non-engine cards. You're playing a very clean, minimalistic 40-card deck list, with a lot of starters as well, so you never have to worry about bricking. And you can break boards very easily with your engine because you're playing the Brave Token engine as well as the Horus engine. So this deck is extremely fun to play, very powerful, very reliable as well, so you can play it at high-level tournaments and you can still do well. No problem whatsoever, but again, it's very complicated. So that's the reason why I'm bringing you guys a video on this deck. Because if you don't have a good vision with this deck and you don't know what you're doing, you're definitely going to be struggling like crazy. But yeah, this video is going to be pretty much stacked with content because I've got 4 combos with you guys for you guys, as well as the deck profile. So you already know the drill. Before we go any further, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. We're gonna try to aim 1,000 likes for this one, and if we can get there, I will be making a live stream on this deck. Now let's get right into combo number 1 out of 4. Alright, so combo number 1 is the bare minimum 1-card combo when all you have is Torrent Scales and 1 discard. It's honestly really mediocre because you only have 1 card, but it's still something. So you send the Ancient Cloak, you search the Silent Boots, and then you special summon because you got the Phantom Knight monster. And then you link off into Cherubini. If you've got the Graph and Seer package, you can do so much more here, but they're bricks, so we're going to assume that you're really trying to play a very legit and realistic deck list. But yeah, now we're going to be sending the Ragged Gloves and then revive back the Torrent Scales. And then Wings revive back the Silent Boots, and then you overlay for a Leviair. And then detach the Silent Boots, revive back the Ancient Cloak. In attack position, preferably, because its effect is always relevant. You can place it in defense, and then increase the attack of a Dark Monster by 800. And then you link off into Masquerena, search the Fogblade. And then just like that, you got a Fogblade, an IP into SP play, or like an Avramax or something. Which is not too bad for a 1-card combo, assuming that the discard was not a card that actually does something in the graveyard. But again, this is like the bare minimum combo when you're absolutely screwed and you've got nothing else. Alright, so this time my hand is obviously much better, right? I have Torrent Scale, Silent Boots this time, as well as a discard, could be anything. And then my opponent has a Nibiru. This hand can play around Nibiru because your 5th summon is going to be something that can negate Nibiru, which is always nice. That's always what you want to hear when you play a deck. You don't want to play a deck that just loses to 1 hand trap. No. And as Nibiru is particularly dangerous, but we're going to be making a Cherubini with the Torrent Scales and the Silent Boots. And we don't use the effect of Torrent Scales when we normal summon it. And the reason for that is because we are going to be playing with our Brave Token engine this time. So we send the Water Enchantress. Really nice how the Cherubini actually foolishes for cost. So this combo also plays around Valor and Imperm. It's actually adorable. And if we get ashed on the Water Enchantress, it still changes nothing because we're going to be still full comboing, but without the Brave Token engine. That's the only difference. So it honestly doesn't change that much. Anyways, now summon number 4 is the Brave Token, because summon number 3 with the Cherubini, and then we get the the Fateful Adventure, and then we search the Wandering Griffin Rider, discard the other card, and then special summon the Griffin in summon number 5. And then our opponent can Nibiru us, but we can simply negate because we've got the Griffin. And then we're going to be searching our deck for the Equip spell, which is just a discard fodder, so why not? Silent Boots, search the Wings or the Sword, it doesn't matter too much. A card that can revive back a Phantom Knight in the graveyard by banishing itself. The Fogblade is also one of them, but Fogblade is actually a good card, so the goal is to not use it just as a discard fodder. And since we banished a Phantom Knight monster, we get to, we used a Phantom Knight card in the graveyard to banish itself. We can revive back the Torrent Scales, and then that's going to be discarding the Wings, send the Ancient Cloak, and then the Wings is going to be reviving back the Ancient Cloak, and then go into the Leviair, revive back the Silent Boots, and now we're going to be linking off the token as well as the Leviair for the IP Masquerena. That's assuming that your opponent Nibiru'd you, otherwise you're not going to be doing that. But, I mean, regardless if your opponent has Nibiru or doesn't have Nibiru, you're still ending on pretty much the exact same amount of interruptions, because we just would have not made the Leviair in order to keep the token and the Griffin Rider, and just, we would have kept laying with our other cards, so it really changes nothing. Anyways, Ancient Gloves, search the String Greaves, not the best card, but whatever. And then link off into the Rusty, special summon the String Greaves, send the Ragged Gloves, as well as set the Fogblade. and then Ragged Gloves effect, send the Fog Blade, revive back the Torn Scales, and then overlay for the Break Sword. And since we're summoning a Dark Exceed to the zone the Rusty points to, we can destroy a card on the field, and we're going to be destroying our own Break Sword, because that is going to revive back 2 Phantom Knight monsters from the grave and increase the level by 1. And then they're level 4 Dark, so we can make Evil Storm Nightmare, and then we can make the IP Masquerena undestructible by battle once, thanks to the Draco back. So your opponent can't just threaten your Masquerena or your Evil Storm Nightmare just by going normal summon a monster and then jump over. So if your opponent normal summons a monster, it's not going to threaten you too much because you are protected from 1 attack. And if your opponent special summons monsters, you can Evil Storm Nightmare to flip everything face down. This is actually quite relevant against pendulums as well. If the pendulum summon like 5 monsters, you can flip all of them in 1 shot. It's actually kind of crazy. Now, do keep in mind, unfortunately, Evil Storm Nightmare is a very old card, and it's an optional when effect. So in other words, if your opponent summons a monster in Chainlink 2 or higher, it is not going to allow the Evil Storm Nightmare to trigger its effect. So Bestials can actually play around the Evil Storm Nightmare. Anyways, on our opponent's turn, we've got like 5-6 interruptions. It's crazy. Evil Storm Nightmare is, of course, a double Book of Moon. And then you got IP into SP, the Fog Blade to negate something, so that's 5 interruptions. And then we've got the Break Sword, Rusty Pop, because we're going to be summoning a Break Sword on our opponent's turn. When that Fog Blade leaves the field, it's going to go to the graveyard, and then we can banish it, revive back. But if your opponent uses a monster for an Xyz summon, the Fog Blade is going to stay on the field, so do keep that into consideration. But at this point, you're going to be winning this game anyways. Alrighty, so combo number 3, what happens if I don't really have any Phantom Knight cards to get my stuff going? Can I still play the game? Absolutely. So now we're going to be going Imseti, discard the Happy, draw the Sarcophagus, search, and then draw whatever Griffin Rider, doesn't matter too much, but you're going to be seeing what I'm going to be doing now. So overlay for Zombie Vampire, and then mill form. And what am I going to be milling? I'm going to be milling double Imperm, Ash, and Water Enchantress. And ironically, this still leads to full combo, even if you don't have any Phantom Knight cards. This is the beauty about playing, you know, level 3 monsters and the Brave Token engine and the Horus engine in your deck. Every path leads to Rome. You don't even need Phantom Knight cards to play a Phantom Knight deck. It's crazy. But yeah, revive back the Ash. Ash is actually a good card in this deck. It's a level 3, so you can make Cherubini. It's beautiful. And then Water Enchantress Surge the right, and then right summon your token. And then you get your Fateful, and then you're going to be special summoning the Griffin. So now you are Nibiru proof, but I mean, at this point, you would have lost the Nibiru anyways, because this is summon number 6. But yeah, now Fateful, search the Equip Spell. And then we're going to be searching for the Water Enchantress, because that is going to be your second level 3. And we didn't even use our normal summon, which is funny, but we don't even need it anyways. Yeah, send the Ancient Cloak and then link off with the Zombie Vampire for the Rusty. And then that's going to be sending the Torrent Scales to set the Fog Blade. And then Ancient Cloak searches the Silent Boots, Torrent Scale revive back, and then use the effect, discard the Silent Boots in order to Foolish for the Wing. And then revive back the Silent Boots, go for the Break Sword, destroy, revive back 2 monsters from the graveyard. So this is actually a pretty nice combo, because we're also going to be ending with an additional Fog Blade on top of everything. So yeah, double Fog Blade, IP into SP, Griffin with the Brave Token. This is a pretty big board, considering that all we really had was like the bare minimum, with literally no Phantom Knight cards to get our stuff going, so that's actually pretty cool. Alrighty, so this is where it gets absolutely crazy. My hand has double Water Enchantress, Sarcophagus, Tsuchinoko, and whatever random discard, like Forbidden Droplet, doesn't matter too much. My opponent has an extremely good hand, right? Nibiru, Imperm, Tour Guide, Dark Contract with the Gate, Aruha, and got a top deck with the Abominable Chamber. Definitely an insane hand, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be losing to a combination of hand traps. Now, how can we play around a combination of hand traps? Everything is possible when you've got a decent hand. And this hand, again, has no Phantom Knight cards, but it doesn't matter at all, because you've got all the extenders in the world. Now, before we go any further, this combo is going to blow your mind, so make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. Anyways, what are we going to be doing? So, Sarcophagus, pitch the Water Enchantress. This actually sends a card from your hand to the grave, doesn't discard. So it will not trigger the Tsuchinoko, just keep that in mind. Same thing with the Fateful Adventure, it sends, doesn't discard. So Tsuchinoko, if you want to use its effect, it's you're gonna do some other things. Anyways, Water Enchantress, search the right, so now summon your Brave Token, and get your Fateful, so that's 1 summon, 2 summons with the Happy, search for the Equip Spell, and then Sarcophagus, discard the other card that you had, send the Duamutef, and then go for the Photon Lord, so that's summon number 4. And then the Fateful is going to be searching for the Griffin, discard the Equip Spell, and then equip, and then Griffin is going to summon itself, so summon number 5. We now have 2 negates we've got the Photon Lord that can negate a monster effect, and then the Griffin can negate anything. So if our opponent has 2 hand traps, it's not even going to be enough. Our opponent needs like double Imperm, and even then, you're not winning with double Imperm, because what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna Imperm my like something so that I can negate, and then you have to go Imperm, negate the Griffin, or negate the same monster, and then I keep the Photon Lord, and I still do things. It's not really good. I can definitely play through double Imperm as well. But yes, special summon the Water Enchantress, and then Tsuchinoko discard, revive itself back. And then Nibiru is not going to do anything. Imperm is also going to get negated. And then I lose the Griffin, but it doesn't matter because I still have a bunch of bodies on the board. And I have all that I need. So go into Cherubini, send the Ancient Cloak, and then Ancient Cloak effect, search for the Torn Scales. And I am not going to be normal summoning it because it's not going to lead to too much. I'm going to go Sarcophagus, pitch the Imseti, and then revive back, and then go into the Rusty. This is the beauty about the Horus engine. You can actually send the 2 other Horus monsters first, the Happy and the Duamutef or Kevesinuef. Revive them, make a Photon Lord or a Zombie Vampire. And then at the very end, you send the Imseti in order to revive itself back, and it's a dark monster, so you can make the Rusty, because Rusty needs 2+ dark monsters. So you need the Cherubini and like any other dark. So either a Zombie Vampire or Imseti or a Phantom Knight monster or Tsuchinoko. So that's the reason why the Horus engine is like particularly good in this deck. It fixes issues, it adds consistency, it gets you easier access to Rusty. It's just insane. But anyways, Rusty is going to be sending the Silent Boots and set the Fogblade, search for your Wing, which is going to be the discard fodder for the Torn Scales, because now we're going to be pitching it. And then Wing, revive back the Ragged Gloves, and then overlay for a Levier, revive back the Ancient Cloak from the Banished. Should have been an attack, so I can actually boost the attack of Rusty by 800. I always forget this small little detail, my bad, but at least I remembered it now. Anyways, link off for the IP Masquerena, and then send the Fogblade, the second one, and then revive back the Torn Scales, make the Break Sword, destroy, and you can already see where this is going. Man, 2 hand traps is not gonna stop me from doing whatever I want, because now I've got Evil Storm Nightmare, Photon Lord, Masquerena, Rusty, and Fogblade, with a Break Sword in the graveyard. Alrighty, on our opponent's turn, what are we going to be doing? Well, we've got all the hand trap, well, all the interruptions in the world, so the tour guide is going to be getting Fogbladed. Basically Imperm, but better, because now the tour guide cannot attack. So even if it has more attack than the Masquerena, it's not going to threaten it whatsoever. So yeah, the normal summon gets taken care of with the Fogblade, and every special summon gets taken care of with the Evil Storm Nightmare. That's the reason why this combination of interruptions is extremely dangerous. And also, you're well equipped to beat just about everything. Like against Flunderies, you're still gonna win with your Fogblades. You just don't have to do Evil Storm Nightmare, but you can IP into SP in order to banish the field spell. And then you got that for the normal summon. So literally, regardless of the deck, you're always winning. And if you get Dark Ruler, you still have Fogblade, you still have Grave Effects, so it's fine. And you have a really good follow-up, by the way. Anyways, the Dark Contract with the Gate is like the least scary thing in the entire world. I can easily take care of that with the Evil Storm Nightmare, so I don't even have to waste my IP into SP. And then the Aruha will not even be able to destroy anything because I'm just going to be negating it. So my opponent needed like Aruha and Sharvara, which is like wishful thinking. And then I will be banishing the face down with the SP Little Knight. And there is no way my opponent can win at this point. It is absolute GG. I can go into like an access code, destroy everything, and then attack for game. It is absolutely wild. But yeah, that's it for the combos. Now let's get into the deck profile. Alrighty, so for my Phantom Knight Horus deck list, I mean, everything is on the screen right now. It should be easy to understand, but I'm still going to make it as simple as possible. So obviously we're trying to max out on the Horus cards because they're so good. 3 Imseti as well as 3 Sarcophagus, as I have shown in the combo that I just showed on combo number 4. Sarcophagus is almost just as good as drawing Imseti, so you're obviously trying to play 3 copies of this card. It's just so nice because you've got so many cards that have graveyard effects. If you discard like a Water Enchantress, it's like free anyways, because using the effect in the hand and the effect in the grave, it does the same thing. So yeah, it's a free discard. And then the Phantom Knight monsters, so 1 Ragged Gloves, double Ancient Cloak, because they're not that great. They don't really get you started, and they're also not really like ideal extenders. They just have like grave effects, whereas Torn Scales, on the other hand, is kind of like a starter. The closest thing there is to a starter. It's the best Phantom Knight monster for sure. And Silent Boots is also very good because it special summons itself from the hand for free. And it has the effect to Surge the Fogblade in the graveyard. Strained Greaves is Stained rather, is the worst Phantom Knight monster, but it is involved in one or a few combos, but yeah, I mean, I just wanted it to have like an extra name for special summoning, but it's not ideal. And then the other Horus monsters, of course, Happy and Duamutef, the Brave Token Engine. Only one right, don't play like multiple because you're gonna brick on that. It's not even that great anyways. The Water Enchantress can recycle back from the graveyard as well. So yeah, you're not even that thirsty to play 3 copies of that card because it's so easy to search. The Cherubini can send that. If you draw like way too many Brave Token cards, this is where you start breaking. Like the really bad bricks I want to say in this deck would be drawing the, I mean, not even these because they're fine to discard. But yeah, drawing like the Fateful, the Draco Bag, the Griffin Rider sometimes, or sometimes it's not even that bad because if you have the Griffin Rider and the Brave Token Engine, you just search the Water Enchantress and then you special and you got like a level 3 monster on the board. So even the Griffin Rider is not even a brick. It's really just the Fateful and the Draco Bag. The rest is fine. And the Horus monsters, again, you just, if you draw them, you discard them, and then you send the other Horus. So you have to discard 1 less card for your Sarcophagus. So it's, even that is fine. Like, literally everything in this deck is, like, okay to draw. And we even have space for a lot of non-engine cards. So 3 Ash, 3 Joblet, or Valor, or Droll, or Nibiru. And then 3 Imperm. Of course, Ash and Imperm are the best hand traps in the game right now. And then we've got the Danger Tsuchinoko, which is just a free level 3 extender. So there's no drawback to playing this card. I at first considered Emergency Teleport with the Psychic monsters, but it's too much of a commitment. And I didn't want to play Jackalope because Jackalope is slightly less good than Tsuchinoko. I'm superstitious, but if you draw Jackalope and Tsuchinoko and your Jackalope gets sniped, you can't summon anything from the deck. And for some reason, this happens to me sometimes, so that's the reason why I don't want it to happen again. And if you only want to play 1 Danger, then you might as well make it Tsuchinoko. And then, yeah, Reinforcement of the Army to preferably search your Torrent Scales, but sometimes also your Silent Boots. I mean, this card is amazing. As well as Foolish Burial, because it's kind of like, gets you to anything. Gets you to your Water Enchantress, your Phantom Knight Extenders, etc. There is, yeah, just no drawback to playing any of these cards. So yeah, 40 card deck list, again, try to make it as clean as possible. Don't play cards that you don't need in your deck. Stained Graves is probably the worst card that you can live without, but again, it is involved in a few combos, so that's the reason why it's there. And you shouldn't play Shade Brigandine because it clashes with Infinite Impermanence, and it doesn't even do that much. Like, the only cool thing that Shade does is make you summon a good Redoer, but that's it. You might as well just, like, even if you only have, like, Evil Storm Nightmare, it's fine, usually. Anyways, for your extra deck, Zeus with Zombie Vampire, Photon Lord, your 2 rank 8 monsters, of course, and then Evil Storm Nightmare. That's the only rank 4 that you really need, because the only way to summon Evil Storm Nightmare is if your Break Sword gets destroyed. So yeah, 2 Break Swords, speaking of the Devil, as well as Levier, involved in a few combos. It's not too bad. It gets you a bit of a better follow-up as well. And then Access Code if you want to kill your opponents, because otherwise, you just have, like, you just struggle to summon high attack monsters without your Horus cards. But if you do have access to your Horus engine, then it doesn't matter. You don't even need that. And then Unicorn, Rusty, Dark, Espilo Knight, Masquerina, Cherubini, and the Link Spider, so that you can turn your Brave Token into an effect monster in order to go into the SP. But I think you can live without Link Spider, honestly. I don't even think you need it that much. Yeah, anyways, that's it for the extra deck. And for the idea section, if you want to play Nibiru, you can. Fenrir is cute because you get like an extra card in your hand that you can use to discard and play the game even more. My issue with Fenrir is that it doesn't really fix major problems with this deck, because now if you go into the combo that summons Cherubini on summon number 3 and then the Griffin on summon number 5, the Fenrir always has to be the first thing that you do. So now it's going to add like 1 extra summon, and then the Griffin is going to be summon number 6, and you start losing to Nibiru. So that's the only reason why I'm not playing Fenrir. Otherwise, it would have been fantastic in this deck. I still think it's a great card, but I don't know. Just because of the existence of Nibiru, I would not be main decking Fenrir. But still to be taken into consideration if people stop playing Nibiru, which will not happen anytime soon. Illegal Knight is actually really cute. I think it's one of the cooler cards to play in this deck as well. You can summon it on the opponent's turn. Yeah, there's honestly just no drawback to playing this card. So if you want to side it, you can do that. More hand traps, and then Typhon, not too bad. The Xyz Armored Engine, which is not needed. It's a lot of commitment in the extra deck, and it doesn't even do that much anyways. And sometimes you're locked under Dark, so you can't even go into it. And then Redoer, Downerd, that again. And then more copies of Ride, which I don't recommend. Spellbound for side decking post game 1. Call by the Grave, which is not needed because hand traps should not really beat you anyways. You should just play more gas instead of more Call by the Grave, Cross Out, and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's it for this deck profile, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts about this deck in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.